Hello and welcome to Get to Know Your County Commissioner, the program that speaks with elected officials about issues of importance in our county. I'm Erica Benitez Gill. Our military men and women deserve our respect and gratitude, and now Miami-Dade County is honoring them with a special one-time event on November 8th. Joining us to talk more about the celebration is District 12 Commissioner Jose Pepe Diaz, who's also the county's military liaison, and his guests, Vietnam veterans Ed McDougall and Ronald Gordon. Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Pleasure to be here.
Commissioner, let's start by talking about this event. Tell me a little bit about the event.
The event is a great event, and in my belief, one that's overdue for, 50 years in the making. This event is to honor the men and women that served in Vietnam and during the Vietnam period. These people, when they got home, there was no bands, there was no thank yous. It was just quite the opposite. And it's time that we rectify that damage that we all did at one point in our lives, and we want to say thank you to them. And this is what this event is all about. Thank you for them doing what they did to keep this country free and to keep our way of life the way it is. And I don't think we could say thank you enough. So this event is just a celebration of them, and as a community in general, is to say thank you.
And the event is called the Golden Veterans Parade. What does it entail?
What it entails is basically a parade in itself, coming down Flagler. We're going to shut down Flagler. We do it in style. And we come down Flagler, and then we end up going into Bayfront Park. And in Bayfront Park, we're going to have a concert and until sundown. And we're going to have a good time. And we'll enjoy some good music, some good camaraderie, and basically get to know our veterans, and especially our Vietnam veterans. And that's what it's all about.
Excellent, thank you. Ed, tell me a little bit what this event means to you as a veteran.
Well, thank you, Eric. First, I want to thank Pepe, Commissioner Diaz, for having us here today, and I appreciate being involved and being with a couple of fine Marines who served their country, and a brother Marine in Vietnam and a brother Marine who answered the call. And it's interesting when I speak with vets, and regardless of Vietnam, Afghanistan, World War II, Korea, it's the stepping up, and it's whether you are in that situation or not in that situation, it's the stepping up and the call for your country and the honor to serve. That's what's most important. Vietnam was a special experience, I suppose, because I was there. It was special to me. I think every veteran of every conflict or every veteran period they have certain memories that will always be triggered, and I certainly have mine. And my Vietnam service started right out of high school. It was in the mid-'60s, and the Vietnam War was raging. And if you were in high school, after high school, you had a choice: go to college or go to war. And mine was to go to war. The history of my family, and I was 18 and wanted to go. So it was the service in combat is different for every GI. They have many different stories to tell. They're all similar in many ways, and my memories are forever ingrained in me, and I won't go into any specifics of them, but I can tell you I left that country with a sense of pride, a sense of service, a sense of brothership, and I had friends that will forever be I spoke to a fellow who was in my unit 6 months ago on the phone, lives in New York. You never forget that brotherhood. It is forever with you. The period of the Vietnam War with 500,000 troops on the ground was very different, obviously, than the conflicts today, socially. They, being those veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan, put themselves out there just as any Vietnam vet did, and that's why we welcomed them home, because we know we didn't have that welcome. And I want to mention the importance of that. I was overseas for 2 years, and I came home, just as a quick story, I still had red clay under my fingernails, and probably was not as clean as I should have been. Back then, you got on the airplane from your unit and they flew you home. And the first thing I did is walk into a bar, and I was 20. I'd been overseas 2 years, but I wasn't 21, and they threw me out of the bar and said they were going to call the cops. So, it was welcome home for me. But the truth of the matter is, what you do when you get home from that, and the country is in turmoil, and there was a lot of turmoil at that time, unimaginable turmoil. You take off your uniform, you put on your civilian clothes, and you go to work, and you forget very quickly. I went on the Miami-Dade Police Department, and I served with many Vietnam vets, and the truth is, the first 10 years I was on the department with so many veterans, we never discussed it. We just we just didn't ever, the subject never came up. Strangely enough, took 10 years for those conversations to open.
Wow. And this event is maybe bringing back, an opportunity for everybody to gather around and actually, celebrate being able to come back home and, the welcome that you didn't receive back.
Well, I will tell you, Erica, I'm very pleased and honored to have this event, but I am not shamed by any part of this country who may have shunned us. I served my country with honor, as did all of the veterans. I don't really need a slap on the back then. I didn't need a parade. We didn't get it. This is a wonderful event because it does honor a moment that all veterans share. There are other people in this room right now working behind your crew that they're veterans from the Iraq War. I welcome them home, and whenever I meet them, I always shake their hand and say, welcome home.
That's a wonderful attitude to have. Ronald, for you,
Yes.
what does this event mean?
This event means the world and all to me because when we came back, when I came back, because we didn't come back as a unit, I came back alone, and we didn't have anyone to look out for us, to stand up for us, so we were baby killers and outcasts in the community. So actually, for 20, 25 years, I never mentioned anything about Vietnam because people says, you're crazy. But this event means the world and all to me.
It's great. It's your welcome home finally after
Thank you.
50 years. Commissioner, and for you, I know that you're spearheading this event along with other partners. What does this mean to you?
What it means is what Ronald just said. Just to see what it means to a fellow veteran and one that never got to get that thank you. And it's like Ed said, that pat in the back. These are tough men. These men put it all on the line. They saw a lot of their friends not come back with them. And they had to deal with that, but they had to deal with that internally. And they have dealt with it through their lives. But now to say thank you, now to say you're respected in every single way as everybody else is, he said it best. I could not say it, but I am proud to be part of that and to lead this. And I think that's my job, to do this and not to do it in any small way. We're going all out. We're doing this as big and as best as we could do it.
Just so we can understand a little bit, tell me what your experience was coming back. Just give me some brief details so we can get a feel for what it was like for you coming back from Vietnam.
I think Ronald spoke to the situation and what it was, and we were briefed before we came home. And what Ronald mentioned was that we came home individually. We were not released as a unit where they come off of a ship or they come up. We were individually put out into our communities and sent home. So there were no parades, but we were told in advance. And our units told us, you're going home to a very bad problem back in the States. They will not like you. So we were prepared, and we understood that there was a lot of anti-war protests. It was seriously bad. And we were expected to have things thrown at us and called names. So our mission was, and it didn't detract from our mission in Vietnam or our service to our country, which we were proud to do. Expect nothing. And because we came home to this situation in the country, which was so anti-war, they focused on the soldiers as being the baby killers. When we knew we were defending this nation, we felt proud to be able to do that. But when we came home, we were advised, and very quickly, turn into a civilian as quickly as you can, take your uniform off, put it away, and go back and roll your sleeves up and go to work, which is what we did. I never remember a parade. Ronald, you remember parades anywhere in the country? I don't remember any. And so we knew
Just the negative stuff, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
We were brothers in Vietnam. We fought together. We came home, and we came home to the country that we served, and we were ready to be part of America and serve America. And I think that for me is the greatest gift of this. We didn't need a praise. We needed to just be proud that we were able to serve this country. And I will finish this with. As I mentioned earlier, the other veterans of every conflict, and whether it's Mogadishu, whether it's Afghanistan or Iraq, these veterans, men and women who are prepared to go and give it all, they just by the fact that they go into the service to serve their country, knowing there is nothing coming out of any special. You just go and serve your country. But to Pepe, I say thank you so much for what you're doing.
Please don't say
great
thank
honor.
you to me. This is about all of us, and it's really about
Us.
you guys, because that's Ronald. I think that's pretty key. Am I correct?
Thank you.
No, don't thank me. The lovely ladies. You know, this is the example of the very best in our community. They did their job. They did it well, and then they came back to the most negative that they possibly could get. But they stood tall in their community, kept it quiet, kept it inside, and now it's time to make sure that everybody recognizes their efforts in making sure that our way of life is what it is today.
To me, it seems like in this type of event, this type of celebration is almost the page that sort of ends this chapter, and it gives you a sense of, like you just finalize something, and it's giving you the opportunity to feel pride and finally, come out in the community and show that you were proud to serve your country. Is this right for you, or is this?
That's correct. That's correct. It's been a long time, and I'm so proud that we are having this. I'm very proud of it, because for so long, we were in denial. So I love it.
This is very difficult. Ronald's a man of very few words, and I'm very proud of him for being here, as Simon said. But just for him to sit here and just say this, very proud. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I close very quickly with one statement I want to make about service in combat, and that is the people who do not get the credit, the wives and the mothers. I came home after 2 years overseas, and I stepped off the airplane, and before me was my mother and my wife, and I realized that they had suffered more than I, and that those family members who are at home when their loved ones are overseas in a situation like that, they don't get enough credit either, and I want to thank them for what they do to send their loved ones off.
This is also a part of their celebration too.
Oh, they're there too. It says everybody.
Thank you, gentlemen, for being here today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Erica.
Thank you, Erica.
Thank you, Pepe.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
And that's all the time we have for today's program. I'd like to thank Commissioner Diaz, Mr. McDougall, Mr. Gordon for being here today. As a reminder, the Miami-Dade County Golden Veterans Parade, presented by Hershey's, will take place on Friday, November 8th. The event will begin at noon with a parade down Flagler Street, followed by a ceremony and a free concert at Bayfront Park. We hope you can join us. For more information about this and other county programs and services, call 311 or visit our web portal at www.miamidade.gov. I'm Erica Benitez-Gill. Thanks for watching.